What's up YouTube, this is Joe from Zephyr Games, and as you can see, I'm finally bringing to you guys the Egyptian God deck. Now this is a combination of all of the gods. As you could see, Ra is on the front, because that's just personally how I enjoy playing the Egyptian gods. I don't necessarily like to have just the one god in it, though I have obviously done profiles of just Ra, because personally Ra out of the three is my favorites. But if I had to play the gods, I do most enjoy playing all of them, and thanks to the brand new support that we received from the Egyptian God structure decks, we finally are able to build a deck that utilizes all of them, fits them all nicely into a deck, though there are additional texts that you can play that help individual gods, and I'll explain those personal texts as I get through it. And I'll also show you a supplementary engine that can not only help the gods themselves, but also allow the deck to play a more different strategy depending whether you're going first or second, and you can customize your extra deck with specific text, and you can take a certain card out. I'll get to it once I get into it, if I remember, because there's times where I say I'll get to something and I don't actually get to it. And before I get into the deck profile itself, if you enjoy it, give us a like and subscribe down below. Ding that notification bell, because obviously if you enjoy a person's content here on YouTube, you don't want to miss out on that content, and that notification bell helps prevent that. And all of that is great, appreciate, and we thank you guys so much for doing so. So with all that said and done, let's get into this Egyptian God deck profile using our amazing God mat, which you can pick your copy as well. I love this mat so much. It is my favorite mat. So starting off with the gods, we have 2 Winged Dragon of Ra, 1 Winged Dragon of Ra Sphere Mode, double Slifer, and a single Obelisk the Tormentor. Why have I gone with this ratio? So personally, Ra, you want to play at least one of it, because Ra has some of the best support going for it. In my personal opinion, it has a search card which also acts as a double summon. It has a revival card. It also has a monster that can act as not only a searcher for that said support, but can also turn into a monster which counts as 3 tributes for a tribute summon, while also protecting your board. So you want to at the very least play 1 Winged Dragon of Ra within your deck. But I did personally play 2 copies because I like the Sphere Mode tech as well. Considering we're also playing things like the True Name, once we get to it later on, being able to search Sphere Mode acts as a very nice threatening call to your opponent, meaning that they can't, if they don't kill you that turn, they cannot end on 3 monsters on their board, because you're just going to sack them all off for Sphere Mode. So it acts as a very nice deterrent if you do intend to search it, but also being able to get a Ra on board with 4k is very good, because then you can just use Ra's effect, nuke the entire board of your opponent bit by bit, and then just punch in for the face for at the very least 4,000. Why have I gone for 2 Slifer though over the 2 Obelisks? Because Slifer's support card, in my personal opinion, is second best. Being able to nuke your opponent's field and draw you cards is just too good. Like, it's just a very strong card, as opposed to Obelisk's negation. That's why I personally gone for the double Slifer. I gone for double Slifer because I want to see Slifer to be able to resolve Thunder Force attack. Though you can obviously alternate between these 2. You can even just play 1 of each, because you're going to be able to just get them on board instantly with the True Name, which is just very handy. Though you do tend to as well tribute summon them, once we see later on. So that's my god ratio, that's my god lineup. Moving on to everything else, we have the double Guardian Slime. You can play 3 copies of this if you want. and I was playing 3 copies, but then I took a copy out for 1-for-1 because I really want to support the angel support that we have in this deck. So 2 Guardian Slime is a really nice number. You never want to play 1. Speaking of the angels, I've gone for 2 Angel 01. This is one of the brand new cards that came out in the God decks. Angel 01 is a level 1 fairy, 200 attack, 300 defense. You can special summon this card from your hand by revealing 1 level 7 or higher monster from your hand. You can only special summon Angel 01 once per turn this way. While you control your special summoned card, you can contribute someone level 7 or higher monster in attack position during your main phase. In addition to your normal summoner set, you can only gain this effect once per turn. So what's fantastic is that it doesn't have to, you don't gain that effect just from its first summon effect. So if you do summon it off a 1-for-1, you still get that additional tribute summon, which is fantastic. And what's also fantastic is that it's not just for a god. You gain this effect by, you can also summon your Guardian Slime. Sometimes you do need to get that Guardian Slime out of your hand to then go into your Egyptian God Slime. So being able to just use a 01 plus something else to get out your Guardian Slime, turn it into the God Slime, search your Ancient Chance, search your Raw, go off from there, is very, very good. So I do like this a lot. Now, I like how it doesn't use up your normal summon as well, which is pretty good. Or you can use your normal summon on something else, as long as you get that one on the board. Moving on, we have 3 copies of Telius the Little Angel. Reason I gone for this is because this is my other, as opposed to Pseudo Guardian Slime, this is my 1 card tribute summon fodder card. You literally normal this, link it into Armorage, get yourself a token, then since you control a token, you banish the angel, get 2 more tokens. So you have 4 bodies on board, which is just great for your god. So as long as you can get that additional normal summon, you can then summon out your god, and you only use 1 card in your hand. So let's say that additional god is Sniper and Sky Dragon, you will still theoretically have 3 cards in your hand, which doesn't seem much, but bear in mind, Sniper reduces everything your opponent summons in the attack position by 2k. So he's going to control that board, and he's going to hopefully stay on the board for at least a single turn, which is very, very good for you. And that's pretty much it I want to say of Thaddeus the Little Angel. Like, he's a really good little card. I really do like him. To round up the monsters, I'm playing the 1 Dano Resto Prankotops. This may seem weird, but he's a free summon, free removal, and there's another level 7 that you can reveal for your angel. So overall, Prankotops has a lot going for him. If you don't want to play Prankotops, you can, and if you do own them, you can play the Beast monster. So that is just all completely up to you. But I like to take in the 1 Prankotops at the current moment. Moving on, we have the 1-1-for-1 for your Little Angel 001. And probably like the best draw card that this deck can use is Part of Extravagance. Sadly, this deck is not budget. Between Extravagance and God Slime, you're forking out a lot if you really want to play this deck at its most potential and most consistency. Extravagance is just like your best draw card. Like, you literally do not, other than the God Slime and your Almirage, literally your entire extra deck is just blank. Like, you just do not need to go into the extra deck. I know a lot of people play Gustav Max. I'd rather have 2 gods on board than a Gustav Max. Like, in rank 10 trains. Like, I just never go into them when I was testing them out. So Extravagance is just great for this deck. Like, it's just all around play it if you have it. Double True Name. The reason I'm not playing 3 of this is because I'm not playing Dark Magician. That's literally the reason why. If I was playing Dark Magician, like if I was playing a DM with God Tex, 100% I'd play 3 True Name. As like 9 cards in your deck in a DM deck stack your deck between Soul and Rod, being able to search both your Circle, which stacks the top 3, and your Soul Servant, which stacks a card of your choice. But the 1 card that we do stack in this deck is Card Advance. The reason I've gone for Card Advance is because it grants me an additional normal summon. I can tribute summon again after activating Card Advance, which means that if I had like the god hand of card advance, true name, and a Thelius, and probably like another god. Like you're getting double god on board basically, and that's all I'm saying. Like it's just such a good card. So the only issue is that it's not searchable, but we're drawing a lot in this deck between extravagance. What else are we drawing with? Thunder Force attack. Like we're drawing a good little amount. So we should be able to see card advance. It's not mandatory, which is why I haven't gone for like triple true name. But it's good. It's a good thing. It has a role, and it does that role very nicely. Another thing that you could play, though it does eat up your normal summon, is playing 2 Magician Rods and a Circle. Because then, or a Soul Servant, one of those two. Because you just normal your Rod, search out your Circle or your Servant, and then you either play Circle to stack the top 3, or you play Soul Servant to stack the second Rod on top of your deck to then be able to resolve True Name. That's another thing that you can do. Issue is it eats up your normal summon, so you then need to have another card in hand that grants you an additional normal summon. So that's the issues that you got, but those are another little engine that you can play. Another card that makes you normal summon again is Ancient Chant, which is fantastic. Searches UR, so you've already got a god in hand, and then it gives you an additional normal summon, but then also lets you banish it so that Ra gains its anime attack boosting effect, which is just really, really nice. Moving on to the brand new spell card, Soul Crossing. Oh my god. Perfect. Soul Crossing is exactly what the gods needed, barring a card that just says search an Egyptian god. Like, it's the only other thing that probably like the gods need. Like, that is just that, or a god support card that stacks your deck. Like that's just another thing that gods need. But this card is phenomenal. In short, lets you use your opponent's board to tribute summon your god. It does have a stipulation where you can't activate. You can only activate one other effect that turn that's not a Divine Beast effect. But the fact that I get to now use my opponent's board to summon my god is fantastic. If I do believe, you contribute a monster. So yeah, it does so much. It acts as the tribute summon, which is just fantastic. So you don't need an additional summon. The fact it's a quick play means you can use it as a disruption, and also the fact that it doesn't force you to use all monsters on your opponent's board. Unlike Ra Sphere mode, where you have to either use all of yours or all your opponents. This lets you use any number. So, your opponent's doing Christian Hackley Firebrax play, they make the half Firebrax, they summon out their tuner. Cool. Flip Soul Crossing, use your Christian, your monster, and one monster on my board. Get out a god. I disrupted your play, so now you have to use additional stuff to keep going. And I've got a giant boss monster on board. Which, if you summon Slifer, now everything you're summoning is going to be reduced by 2k unless you summon it in defense mode. So there's a really good amount of disruptions that you can do with this Soul Crossing. And it's just great. I love this card so much. Moving on, we have 2 copies of Thunder Force Attack and 1 copy of Fist of Fate. Thunder Force blows up your opponent's board and you get to draw a card per card that you destroyed. And Fist of Fate, let me just double check Thunder Force. This card's activation effect cannot be negated if you control a monster whose original name is Slifer the Sky Dragon. Destroy as many face-up monsters your opponent controls as possible. Then, if you activate this card during your main phase, you can apply the following effect. Draw cards equal to the number of monsters destroyed by this effect and send to your opponent's graveyard. Also, you can only attack with 1 monster this turn. You can only activate 1 Thunder Force per turn. And then Fist of Fate is that this card's activation effect cannot be negated. Wish like Ancient Chant had that. If you control a monster whose original name is Obelisk the Tormentor, negate the effects of 1 effect monster your opponent controls. And if you do, destroy it. And if you do that, for the rest of this turn, the effects of that monster is negated, as well as the activated effects and effects on the field of monsters with the same original name as that card. Then if you activate during your main phase, you can apply the following effects: destroy all spells and traps your opponent controls. It's a negation, permanent negation of everything with that name, and it acts as a back row popper if you did it on your turn. So the reason I've gone for 2 Thunder Force is because I prioritize Slifer over Obelisk, and that's the reason why for that. For more back row hate, we do play the 1 Harpies of Everduster, because the God decks were nice to give it to us. And then I have 1 Millennium Revelation with the 1 Monster Reborn. I really like this in the God decks because it just, so long as you discard any Divine Beast, you get to search Monster Reborn. And then Monster Reborn can just constantly keep reviving your gods from the graveyard, so you don't have to keep tribute summoning them. Bear in mind, they will kill themselves at the end of the turn. 1 Quarterback Grave, because we don't want our stuff being stopped. And then for the traps, I'm only playing 5 of them, which is 2 Crackdowns. Steals your opponent's monster, which is very, very nice. Disrupts an opponent's play, which is very, very nice. And then gives you a tribute fodder for your turn, which is very, very nice. If you combo this with Soul Crossing and a God in hand, like, you're just golden. Like, you use nothing for, like, no monsters of your own. And I'm playing 3 copies of Solemn Strike. This can be imperms if you so wish. So that's it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra. The extra deck is pretty easy and self-explanatory, barring the, like, extra, like, 12 cards that I have at the back, which will explain the supplementary engine that you can play, which really supports gods. Double God's Time, I'd play 3 of it, but I only own 2. Yeah, you want to play as many copies as possible, more than 1, preferably, especially if you're playing Pot of Extravagance. Well, if you're not playing Extravagance, you could get away with just playing 1, because you'll just keep reviving it anyway. But because I am playing Extravagance, you need to play at least more than 1, because you want to make sure you at least have 1 in your extra deck. Triple copies of Almarge is the thing I'm going into the most to trigger off my Telius, the little angel, and the 1 copy of Link Rebo because I'm playing the 1 Angel 001. And then the other engine I'm playing is the Numon Gate package. So 1 C1 C1, double 1, double 2, double 3, and double 4 to round up the extra deck. Why am I playing this? Because if I was to take this to a locals or any event, I would legit side in a Numon engine. The Numon package being the 3 field spells, the Gate 0, and so on and so forth. Why would I do that? Because literally the field spell, Numon Network, is a 1 card tribute fodder for a god. 100% all the time. You just play Network, play the field spell, ditch the calling, summon out your 3 gates, summon your god. Doesn't take up your normal summon. It gives you that at least 1 summon that turn for your god card. And it doesn't eat up much in your hand. It literally eats up 1 card in your hand, being the field spell. So if you do summon Slifer, Slifer is going to be at 3k on your first turn. It's just fantastic. You can then also play the number card to draw you cards if you really wanted to, so that's an additional draw engine for you. But I would just personally play, if I were for this particular build, I would just play the field spells and the callings and the gates to search the field spell, and the terraforming as well. That's what I would personally do. It also then gives your deck an additional form of play. It gives your deck an additional strategy that your opponent then has to either try to find a way to deal with it if they already know it's there, or they don't know it's there, and they just think you're playing God.deck, and then you surprise them out the blue with a Numon OTK. And that's pretty much, yeah, that's pretty much it. Don't really need to explain much more. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this deck profile and everything. I do apologize it's taken a long video, but it's just a lot to talk about with this support. The support is just fantastic, does everything for the gods, and the fact that you can now build a god deck is just brilliant. Like, I love it so much. Like, a deck that just supports all of them. don't be surprised to see a DM version of this deck by Dale. I'm gonna just like spam him with that one because I think it's so cool. I love the DM version as well, but I'll leave that for Dale, for he is the DM king for our channel. So as always, guys, like, comment and subscribe. Till next time, as always, happy dueling.